Hey there, and this is part 2 of my series on how to target your ideal customers with Facebook ads. So if you missed last week's video, you can go ahead and check it out right here, but I just summarized what actually are the available targeting options to you. So now in this video, we're gonna dive right in. I'm going to show you how to build these audiences. So in this video specifically for part 2, I'm going to show you how to build your custom audiences. So I will be showing you and walking you through how to target your email list, your website visitors, and your social media engagement. So let's go ahead and dive right into it with email list first. So to build any audience, it's always done over in the audiences tab. So we're going to navigate over to the hamburger menu, click on all tools, and then we're going to navigate over to audiences just right there. So with this one, we're going to start off with the email list. Obviously, that's something you have to download from your CRM first and foremost. So once you have done that, go ahead and click on create audience, custom audience, and then we're going to choose customer list right here. If you have MailChimp, you can go ahead and choose that. It'll actually be an automatic integration that can upload periodically into Facebook, which is a pretty neat feature. However, I personally really dislike MailChimp, so I do not have that feature. So if you are like me, then go ahead and click next right here. And then here's where you're going to choose your email list that you've downloaded. So I'm going to go to my files. There it is. Perfect. And before we move on to the next step, you see here that there's a question. Does this list include a column for customer value? If it is yes, go ahead and select that. And then you can choose the column that has that. And this is a great option because it's actually going to increase the quality of a lookalike if you do end up creating a lookalike in the future. If you're doing it for retargeting purposes, you know, it could also be super helpful because if someone has spent a certain amount of money and now a new offer makes the most sense for them, again, you can segment it this way. So it's a great piece of information to have. However, not all CRMs have that information. And so you don't have to select that. I'm going to hit no because that is the case with mine. So I'm going to name this entire email list, and then I always like to put a date on here. That way I know when it was last time it was uploaded and updated, because these do need to be updated periodically. If someone removes themselves from your email list, you cannot target them as part of your custom email custom audience. So make sure that you're always kind of purging it and updating it to be in compliance with Facebook. So then we go ahead and click next, and then it gives us the columns here. I don't include the phone number field, right? I just do email, as you can see right here, and then I go ahead, click on import and create. You're gonna get this little warning. Just hit upload anyway. And there we go. Now, directly from here, right, it's telling me 812 rows were uploaded. That doesn't mean that all 812 will actually be matched up. Whenever you are uploading an email list, the match rates are about between 50 to 75%. So this is one of the reasons why I said, if you can ever get to that 1,000 value, that actually is best, because you're never going to match up 100% of all people. With match rates being between 50 and 75%, that's a good number to reach 1,000 to have a decent amount of people in your audience. If you want to directly from here, you can create a lookalike, create an ad, or anything like that from there. But we're gonna go ahead and just click on done and move on to the next one. All right, now let's move on over how to target your website visitors. So now we're moving on to website visitors. So as always, we're gonna click on create audience, custom audience, and then this time we want to choose website right here. Click on next. Make sure you have the correct pixel selected. Some people have multiple pixels. I do not, so it's actually pretty easy and straightforward for me to be fine there. But like I said, if you do have multiple pixels, make sure you're not choosing the right one. And we have some options here. The default option is all website visitors past 30 days, which is fine, but you can customize this in several ways. One, first and foremost, you can customize the retention. So this can be 1 day, the minimum of 1 day, or it can be a maximum of 180 days. It all depends on what your goals are and what the volume of traffic is to your website. As I said in part 1 of the series, if you have a super high volume of traffic, probably the shorter time frames make a little bit more sense for you, because those are going to be warmer people. If you have a smaller amount of traffic going to your website, you probably just should stick with 180 days. But beyond that, we can also customize the type of visitors. So people who visited specific pages, you can do that one right here. So if you want to target people who visited the confirmation page for a specific purchase or a specific opt-in, you can do that here as well. Right, you would just type in the part of the URL for that confirmation page. So for example, if the confirmation page ends in /thank-you, then that's all I have to put right there. I do not have to put the entire URL right there. I just have to put something that is unique to that URL. And I do like to keep this at contains. I don't use doesn't contain or equals. I think contains is simply the easiest way to go about it. So that's what you do if you want to target people who visit specific pages right there. You can also do visitors by time spent, which is a fantastic option if you have a high volume of traffic. And I would say this is actually probably the best option if you have that high volume of traffic. So this gets rid of all of the people who spend 2 seconds on your website, because the problem with all website visitors is that it's going to include some really low quality people in there, because everyone makes it to a website and they'll bounce, and everyone has that portion of their website traffic. But if you want just to get in front of high quality people, you can optimize it by choosing people who spend the most time on your website. So you can choose here 25%, 10%, and 5%. Obviously, the smaller the percentage, the higher quality the audience is going to be, but also the smaller the audience is going to be. So again, this all kind of depends on what kind of volume of traffic you are choosing. If you're getting tens of thousands of people to your website, 5%, 100% go for that. If you're only getting a couple thousand, then maybe the 10 or 25% option makes the most sense right there. So let me go ahead and do this one. I'll do top visitors by time spent over the last 90 days, and I'll label this top visitors by time spent, and then this is going to be 25% for me, just like that. And then my retention time, 90 days. Boom, there we go. Always make your audience names as specific as possible, because that way when you go back and you're reading your audience names, you're not confused about who it is that you're actually looking at. Then we go ahead and click create audience, and then we are done. And last but not least, here's how you target your social media engagement. So one last time, click on create audience, custom audience, and then here we have to navigate to a couple of different sources, because you saw that for the email and website, we navigated here to this your sources section, websites, customer lists, all that kind of stuff. Also, you can see app activity, catalog, offline activity. That's not something I'll be covering in this tutorial, because those are kind of like the least used audiences right there, except for catalog if you're e-commerce, but I don't do a whole lot of e-commerce myself. So then we have to go to meta sources. So for meta sources, there's a bunch of options that we can choose from here. There's video, there's Instagram account, and then there's Facebook page. I would say those are the most common ones. If you do happen to use lead forms and instant experiences, obviously you can go ahead and select those right there. Augmented reality, that'll probably become bigger in the future, but right now very few people can do that. So let's first and foremost start with video audiences. So here you want to go ahead and click video, and then choose the content type. So you can choose for how long people are watching your video and who you want to be targeting. I always tell people the minimum you should be doing is 15 seconds. I mean, if someone watches 10 or 3 seconds of your video, as far as I'm concerned, that's not a high quality view. So why would you want to retarget that person or create a lookalike off of that person? You want higher quality people. And so the rule I have here is like, okay, well, do I go with 15 seconds or all the way up to 95% of your video? It depends on how long your video it is. The longer your video is, the shorter the time frame you can choose, right? So 25% or something like that. And then the shorter your video is, the higher you want your percentage to be, so 95%. So if you have a 30-second video, yes, I mostly just want to target people who are watching 95% or at least 75%, because if it's 30 seconds and people are watching 15 seconds, that's still only half. I don't know if I want to qualify that as a quality view when it's just a 30-second video. If I can't capture people's attention for 30 seconds, then I'm probably in trouble. So make sure you choose wisely here. So I'm gonna go with 75% because I'm about to choose a video that is on the shorter side. So then you can go ahead and click on choose videos. Then you wanna make sure you have the correct page right here. There we go. And so I'm gonna go with this video right here. It is a 59-second video, as you can see. So I can go ahead and choose that right there. And it tells you your 3-second views right here for all of your videos. So you do have at least some kind of preview of what you're going to be getting. And you can choose multiple videos just like this right here, right? You're not stuck to choosing just one video. If I want to include all these videos, I certainly can. So now all of a sudden this becomes an audience of anyone who has watched any of these videos for at least 75%. And then you get to choose your retention. You might recall that for website audiences, the maximum was 180 days, but for on-platform audiences, such as this one, the maximum is actually 365 days. So then I want to title this, I will say video viewers, and then this is targeting my reels, and then we're going after 75% views, and this is 365 days of retention, just like that. All right, cool. Then I go ahead and click on create, and I can go ahead and retarget those people or create a lookalike off of them in the future. Now let's see how we target other types of engagement, mostly page engagement in this instance. So we can start off with Instagram. You go ahead and select your account right there. If you're connected to multiple accounts like I am, just make sure you are choosing the correct account once this pops up right here. But as that is populating, it defaults to everyone who has engaged with this professional account over the last 365 days. As always, the minimum is 1 day, and then the maximum here is 365 days. So you can customize it just like that. So let me go ahead and choose my page right here. Where am I? So this includes everyone, the default option, everyone who has done any type of engagement of, any kind on your page. So people who, save your posts, message you, all the way to people who just visited your page for 2 seconds and then left like that. So, again, this comes down to how big is your social media following. If you have a very, very big social media following, I think this is a pretty lousy option. If you have a smaller social media audience, then this option is perfectly fine because you need your audience to be as big as possible. But if you happen to be in that scenario where you have, tens of thousands of followers, first and foremost, congratulations. But secondly, there's a lot of great options you can choose here, right? So you can choose people who visit the account's professional profile, people who engage with any post or ad. So if you're not looking for page visits or people who message you, you just want people who visited your page or post or engage with your page or post, I should say, then this is the option you want to choose right there. This one I love. Again, if you have a very active social media page, a huge following, there's a lot of people messaging you, this is a phenomenal option to choose. That's a high quality audience right there, as well as this bottom one, anyone who saved any post or ad, right? When someone saves your post or ad, that is just a clear indication that person is extremely interested in whatever it is that you are selling. So that's a great audience for you to get in front of right there. And then lastly, you can also choose your followers right there. So typically the way I do this is that I always do a followers audience, and then I'll go ahead and choose at least 1 or 2 of these other audiences to create as well. So let me go ahead, in this case, choose anyone who has saved any post or ad. I will keep it at 365 days for my case, because my social media following isn't that big at this moment, and so I think that's probably a good retention period. But if I had tens of thousands of followers, I certainly would lower that right there. So this is IG engagement, saved post, and then this is 365 days. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and create that audience right there. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for Facebook. So as opposed to choosing Instagram engagement, now we wanna choose Facebook page, click on next, and we're going to see really the exact same thing. So that it falls to anyone who engaged with your page. And again, that's any type of engagement you can possibly think of, from big to large, or sorry, I should say from large to small. Or you can choose this and you can customize it. So people who like your page, again, that's almost the same thing as your followers on Facebook. People who engage with any post or ad, people who clicked any call to action button, that's a phenomenal one to choose, again, if you have a very large following on Facebook. And then you see the same two we saw last time for Instagram, people who sent a message to your page, and then people who saved any post. So let me go ahead and choose this one again for Facebook. So I'll do FB engagement, saved post, and then this is also 365 days. Of course, go ahead and tweak any of these audiences based upon your specific needs, industry, niche, and audience sizes. All right, and there you have it. So that is the tutorial on how to target your custom audiences with Facebook ads. In next week's video, I'm going to go over how to target lookalike audiences and detailed targeting, so stay tuned for that one. As always, if you had any questions about anything that you saw in this video, just let me know in the comments below and I will happily get back to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.